Alright, welcome back, and in this video we are going to do our form. So what I'm going to do is I need to CD, I'm root level directory here as normal. I'm going to CD into a cache tracker, and since we're adding a new page, that add page, we need to do our typical URL view template process. So let's start that. So I'm going to open up my urls.py, and in here I'm going to add another one, URL separated with a comma first. And now let's go in here, and the first argument is going to be a raw string, and we're going to do the little caret, which means go to the start of the string and look for add. When you see that, go into the views module and run the add method, and our name for our namespace, if we need to, is going to be add. That's it. And let's run our server. I'm going to CD up, run our server, just to make sure that I don't have a syntax error in the urls.py. I should get the cache tracker views has no attribute add. Perfect. And if you remember from the last URL we did, that's because I made the URL. I still haven't made the view yet. So let's go into a notepad or whatever editor you're using, open up your views.py. And let's make that. So we're going to say def, we called it add. It's probably not the best name. That kind of sounds like some type of reserved word. I'm going to give it an empty context for right now, just an empty dictionary. And I'm going to say return render request. Cache tracker, we're going to say add.html and context. Alright. So now that that's done, we need to create this template, this add.html. So let's go into, we're already in cache tracker. Let me ls. So let's go to our templates directory in cache tracker. Inside that, there's also another cache tracker directory, and we're gonna make this add.html. Now, if you remember, we're not extending base.html anymore. We're extending cache tracker /home.html because we have the nav bar in that. And then we're going to do our block cache tracker content is what we called it. And now we're going to end this block. And let's just going to say our add page. Oh, fuck it. Our add. There we go. Our add page. I'm going to save that. And I'm going to run the server. Oh, one more thing we need to do is open up the cache tracker's home.html, and let's add this URL into our nav bar. So URL is going to be cache tracker add. Alright, let's run our server and see if it works, see if we made any mistakes. So change directory up to your root level directory. So far so good, no syntax errors at least. Let's bring this over here and let's do localhost. It always likes to go to admin first. We want to go to home. Go into cache tracker, list all, add receipt. Perfect, our add page. So now we know that that's working. So now we got to work on our form. All right, so we need to add this form, add a form to this page. So open up your add page here, and let's add a form. Let's delete this and tab in. We're going to say form action is going to equal just an empty string. Method is going to equal post. All right, the action is it's kind of like a URL redirect. So you can put in any page here. I could put in cache tracker home or something like that, and it'd redirect to there whenever I submitted this. I'm going to have it just refresh the page I'm at, so I'm going to leave this blank. Method is post. There's two types of form methods, post and get. Kind of general rule of thumb is if you're adding anything to a database or retrieving anything from a database, you want to use, well, I guess if you're just adding anything to a database, changing states, you want to use post. The difference between post and get is all the all the inputs we have in our form here with a get method, they're all going to be accessible via the URL, so via the browser URL. So if you were to say if you were to try to use a get method while passing username and password, that username and password would show up in the URL, so it's not secure at all. We're going to use post here. And the first thing we're going to have is a CRSF token. So it's a Django tag, so do your Django opening and closing tags here, the percent and the curly bracket. And that's just kind of like a secret key that Django is going to use to validate, to make sure that this form was actually posted from our website and not from someone else's. And we're going to say input ID is going to equal merchandise. And name is going to equal merchandise. Type is going to be a text field. Type is going to equal a text field. And a placeholder. This placeholder is just going to be exactly what it is, a placeholder. So when this form is rendered in this field, it's going to have some grayed out text that says merchandise. I'm going to add a break there so these get put on different lines. The next one we're going to have input ID is price. Name is going to equal price. The type this time is going to be a number. Type is going to equal a number. Minimum is going to be 0. We don't want it to go have any negative receipts here. And our step is going to be 0.01. You'll see what that step does here soon. And we're going to add another break. Finally, an input type is going to equal submit. And the value is going to equal add. We'll call it add receipt. And pretty much when this submit input is pressed, it goes to this action and loads the page up here, which right now is the current page because it's empty with all this post data. So let's see that in the browser. Am I running my server? Yep. So I'm running the server, and I'm just going to refresh my cash tracker ad. So there we go. The merchandise. Notice the placeholder. Some merchandise, whatever. And notice here, that's what that step is, the 0.01. Alright, I refresh it, nothing happens. So what I want to do now is kind of show you how to get that post information in our view. So I'm going to come over here into our views.py for the cash tracker. And underneath the context, I'm going to say if request.method is equal to post. So if when we load this page, it's a post as opposed to a get, we're going to run this. And all I really want to do is print the request.post and show you what that does. So I'm going to open up my server right here. And I'm going to refresh this page. We'll just do add receipt. So I've refreshed the page. Nothing really is showing over here. It was a get request, a cash tracker ad. Oops. There we go. And right here, I just want to add, shirt for $9.99. Add receipt. So if you come over here, this is what was actually printed. So when you use print commands in your views, it will actually print that out over here to your server log. So notice it was a dictionary, query dictionary. My merchandise field was a shirt. There's our the CSRF token, so there's our little secret key that Django's going to use to verify that this came from our site. And here is the price, $9.99. So now we've used the form to pass information from a user to our view. We've printed out that in our view, and it's a dictionary. Since it's a dictionary, we can access elements inside, merchandise being a shirt and price being $9.99. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to use this dictionary to create a new receipt object just like we did in the shell, and then save that to the database just like we did in the shell.